Hello people of the internet, my name is Jack, and not too long ago Ender Magnolia released its 1.0 patch, leaving early access. I've had a ton of fun with this game, just like its predecessor, Ender Lilies. However, since the game is pretty new, not a lot of fun challenge runs have been made yet, so I wanted to start with something simple before trying anything big. So before we begin, what is a primary homunculus? In Ender Magnolia there's 5 categories of homunculi. There's 2 primary homunculi, there's 3 cooldown homunculi, there's 2 pressure homunculi, there are 3 autonomous homunculi, and there are 4 ability homunculi. As Nola and Raibolg's category implies, they're supposed to be a main source of damage. However, Nola can also be used as a source of mobility, making it possible to reach ledges you couldn't before, and also getting some items earlier than usual. As you can see, Nola can be very handy for both damage and mobility. Rules are simple. Don't use any primaries, except in the beginning, where I'm forced to use Nola until Leto is defeated. The run ends as soon as I get either ending. With all that being said, let's get into the run, shall we? Waking up, I decided to immediately run towards Nola. Being forced to use her for the first time, I dodged every enemy encounter so I wouldn't level up with Nola. A little while later I ran into Leto's boss room, where he went down pretty easily. With Leto purified, he joins our little group and Nola gets tossed aside, letting the real challenge begin. Leto is a pretty good damage dealer, however, due to his category being cooldown, every action I take has a cooldown of 6 seconds, where I am pretty much defenseless. I need another homunculus that doesn't have a cooldown, as soon as possible. And luckily for me, the next homunculus, Yolvan, is exactly what I need. But there's one little problem. We need to fight him first, and I only have Leto, so the fight took me about 10 minutes to beat. It wasn't hard, however I had to be extremely careful, as I only have 3 heals. Oh yeah, he has his second stage too, but the second stage is way easier compared to his first stage. After 10 minutes of fighting, I finally defeated Yolvan and Caladrius. Purifying Caladrius resulted in him reverting to Yolvan, who joins our group as our main source of damage for pretty much the rest of the run. It's not great at dealing damage, but holy shit does it stagger good. I returned to the lower Stratum, and Gordon handed me a key to the Magicite Mines and the Tethered Steeple. I decided to head to the mines first. There's 2 homunculi to get there, Munin and Garm. At the midway point of the mines, this injured guy gives me Munin. She is an autonomous homunculus. Autonomous homunculi attack by themselves, so I can focus on dealing damage with Yolvan and Leto, while Munin will occasionally shoot energy balls at the enemy. At the end of the mines we encounter Garm, the boss of the mines. Thanks to me having more than 1 homunculus, the fight was more manageable than Yolvan. Still, that didn't mean it wasn't a little bit challenging. Garm has a habit of jumping a lot and throwing tons of rocks in random directions. Despite all that, the fight went by pretty smoothly, making Garm join our cause as our first ability homunculus. With Garm in the group, I went to the next area, the Tethered Steeple. where I went to this open roof cathedral church thing place where the shackled beast ambushed us. The shackled beast's efforts to kill us were good, but we were gooder. He saw strength in my group and I made him my bitch. Join our group. With the Shackled Beast's defeat, I gained access to the Crimson Forest, where I made my way to Vale. He didn't seem too keen on seeing Nola. He accused Nola of murder. We killed him so he wouldn't spread any more misinformation. Disclaimer. This is misinformation. Lore-wise, Nola did kill Lady Abelia in an unfortunate accident. With the big dog slain, Hati got an upgrade, making it possible to break these things now. With our little dog upgraded, we went back to the starting area where I broke one of those tumor wall things. This opens the gates to the Crystalline Realm, where I quickly ran into Lars. Beating him made him flee. Thrice. After the third time though, Joran and Rybolg found Lars broken. They leave and I attune Lars. Lars invites himself into our group and gives me the ability to wall jump. I made it to the Subterranean Waterways, where I grabbed some diving gear from a corpse, and that's pretty much it. There's not a lot here I can do yet. What I can do, however, is dive in the Tethered Steeple and make my way to the final disposal site. In the disposal site, I made my way to the roller with the big ball. There's a way to kinda cheese it by just dodging through it, so I did just that for the vast majority of the fights. Upon beating the roller, there was some guy in that ball of who knows what. I don't even know how he got there in the first place, but anyways. Progressing through the disposal site brought me to the King of the Garbage Heap, a pretty easy boss. After beating the ball of death, Motley emerges. This homunculus can shoot webs on hooks. I also met up again with the Dungball dude, who found the thing he was looking for. Having found all the pieces to fix the elevator, we went up to the central stratum, only to find most people dead. Up ahead was Gilroy, who thought I was a survivor, so he wanted to finish the job. However, I defended myself and made him retreat to his base. After the situation was over, the Stratum was open for business again, and so was its train stations. At this point you can choose two directions. You can go to the left, which is the Sorcerer's Academy, or you can go to the right, which is the Steel District. I thought the Sorcerer's Academy would be a good place to start. To make a long story short, Luisiach, the wizard woman, the area boss, had this thing. This little motherfucker out-healed the damage I dealt to both him and the wizard lady. But I did get this pretty handy carapace, so that's something. So Steel District it is then. Honestly, this is probably my favorite area in the game. And then there's the boss gauntlets, where you get to fight 3 mini-bosses before getting to the main event, number 7. And is it just me, or did they decrease the HP from the mini-bosses? Oh, I guess they really did that. They nerfed number 7 too. Back to the tower. With the nerfs of the mini-bosses, I made it to number 7 with pretty much all of my heals. Due to the nerfs of number 7, he was pretty much harmless. With number 7's defeat, we made our way to the clan's estates. A lot of half-destroyed homunculi are there. If you're unlucky enough, you might even see one metamorphosize into a beautiful and lethal flower. I made my way to the entrance of the clan's boss arena. His fight is underwater. Why he low rest though? Upon killing the clan for real this time, Motley got an upgrade. This allowed him to swim and break underwater doors. With Motley being able to break underwater doors, I made my way to the Arcane Factory. And now, Velgrind. Fighting him with primaries was already hard, but without them, he was a nightmare. Some hits deal more than half of my health. His attacks come out pretty fast. However, he was really fun to fight that way. I experimented with Hugin and Lorna, as I quite didn't understand how they worked, but ultimately I decided to stick to my usual build. His fight probably took me the longest to beat in this run, but I had to do it to upgrade our precious boy Garm. Putting Velgrind to sleep, Garm got his super jump. This made it possible for me to gain access to the biological research facility. At the heart of the facility was Gilroy, getting some new parts and ready to fight again. He got some fancy new moves, but you'll need more than fancy moves to beat me, buddy. Lars got an upgrade after Gilroy fled again, and now Lars can do some super jumps from the walls. With these two key parts combined, I can now enter the upper stratum, the final area of the game. But before facing the final boss, I had to face Velius. He has the worst run back in the game and is a pretty bland boss, to be honest. But other than Velius, the rest of the upper stratum went by pretty smoothly. And now we made it. The final encounter with Gilroy. And if you have a specific item on you, you can get a slightly harder version of him for ending B. But we don't have that item, so we get the easier Gilroy. Before that, I upgraded as many relics as I could and bought some pieces of gear to prepare for the final fight. My build is going to revolve around special skills, which is why I'm equipping Ares as a totem. I get 2 SP bars and some relics boost attack and defense when both are full. And this pairs very good with the Nameless Priestess ring, which gives me more SP when fighting enemies. Once Gilroy is staggered, I use both specials to deal huge amounts of damage. And now with my build ready, I fought Gilroy in the final fight. He's a really fun fight, and without any primaries, he's quite a challenge. Everything went according to plan and Gilroy fell. And that's the end of the run. Thanks for watching. I need to go now. Bye.